Hi, all my crafting friends. I want to welcome you back to my studio. It's been about 2 weeks, I think, since my last video. I had a bit of a medical emergency, and so I'm starting to get back into things. Um, and I want to welcome you to my video. And today is my Technique Tuesday, and I have a fun technique that is a little bit outside the box. I've done this one in the past, and I thought, I want to revisit this one because I think it's a lot of fun, and I want to show this card. This card is made from a napkin. We had a get together at our church where we decorated for our church dinners and different things, and the napkin that I have here in my hand was what was at our dinner. And so I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I love sunflowers and different things. And I'm like, oh, I can make a card out of that. And they're like, a card? I'm like, yes, I can make a card. And so that has been about a couple weeks ago. And so I'm just now getting around to making this card. And so I want to welcome you to my next episode of my Technique Tuesday. And so, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for continuing to watch my videos, even though I was absent for a little while, and I'm hoping that I am back to normal of being back on my schedule so that I can get my Make It Mondays and my Technique Tuesdays and my mystery stamping. I had to cancel several things, and so I'm doing better. I end up having a massive migraine that um, mimicked some other things, and so I did have a hospital stay for a while, and I am now getting back to a little bit more like me, a little bit normal self, and so I wanted to do something that is kind of easy um, starting back. And so this is an easy technique. And so I hope that you'll like it and you'll hang around and see what it's all about. So this card, it's very shiny, so I do have it propped up here so that it doesn't glare too much, but it's kind of a pretty good wow, I think, for it to be a napkin. And so we'll get started on how to do that. You can craft along with me if you're watching this on YouTube. Just pause the video, and if you have a napkin, grab a napkin. If you have, all the supplies that I'm going to show you, just grab them and craft along with me. It doesn't have to be this napkin, and I will show the different steps. They are not hard. They are a lot of fun. And so let's start with what all products that we need. So I have a napkin. This one here is a full-size napkin, and they're usually 2 or 3 ply. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And then if you have these sheets here, and they are our multi-purpose adhesive sheets, and there's so many different purposes for these, but I already cut down one of the sheets for my technique, and so I went ahead and cut a piece larger than what I was going to actually need. So this here is like 5.25 by 4.25. And so my finished front here is looks to me like it's 4 7/8 by, let's see, I think it's 3 3/4. So I did cut it just a little bit larger because I'm going to trim it down so that the edges won't be rough and different things. And so if you have that, you need that. If you have a napkin that has any kind of a design, and I have all kinds. I have a drawer where I keep several different designs. So like I've got birthday, and I've got sunflowers, and I've got all different types for different holidays. I've got snowflakes, I've got pickup trucks, you name it. If I see it and I'm thinking I could make a card out of it, then I pick up a pack of them. And I usually get mine like at Dollar General or at the Dollar Tree or someplace where they're not real expensive. But this one was free because I got it at dinner. And so what I have done is I already have, I cut it down into fourths. So I cut it in half down the seam here, and then I cut along the seam, and so I cut it into fourths. And this is a fourth of it here, and here's the other fourth. So I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. There we go. And then the other pieces that I need is just my card base. And if you're a crafter, you have the cardstock. And this is, let's see, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then this is a piece of just our basic white, and it is, once again, it's a little bit larger than what I'm going to need. It's 5 inches by 4 1/4. And so there's that, and I will cut that down. And then I have a piece of our basic black, and this piece measures 5 inches by 3 3/4. Now that's the size that I actually want. So this will be cut down once I put the napkin on there and everything. It will be cut down to layer onto my black piece. So you can see that it is quite a bit larger. So there's that. And then I have a scrap piece for sentiment, but I already did that ahead of time so that I don't have to be doing that. So I took a piece of this scrap piece of black cardstock, and I took my embossing buddy and I tapped it on there. I stamped my thinking of you in Versamark and then put it in white embossing powder. And so you do not have to do that. I will explain as we're stamping here. If mine has a design here for the stripes, and if mine did not, and it was just a plain white background, I probably would have just stamped my greeting. But with it having the stripes, I figured it would take away from the greeting. So I decided to stamp it on my black cardstock and emboss it in our white embossing powder. And our embossing powder is wonderful. It gives you a lot of nice detail, especially with our Versamark. And so I have that already stamped and embossed, and then I just need to fussy cut that out. So there's that. And then I did need Versamark for to do that, but it's also we need Versamark to finish the card. So I'll put that up there. I do have some of the ribbon here, and this is the black and white, and it's the gingham ribbon, and I just pulled it out, wrapped it around, and decided how much I would need for a bow. I can tell you that, let's see, got 12, probably roughly 18 inches. I mean, I just guessed at it, so I have that. And then, of course, a thinking of you stamp that I just, chose. I had it sitting on my desk, so I just thought, oh, I like that one. And so you can choose any, you can do birthday, you can do thank you, thinking of whatever your sentiment is that you want. You choose that and just go with that. So anyway, so let's get started. So if you have time, like I said, pause the video and go grab your supplies. If you have the adhesive sheets and you have some napkins that have designs, go ahead and go grab them and craft along with me here. All right, so I have a couple pieces of just plain copy paper here. Something else that you're going to need is clear embossing powder. You don't necessarily have to have it, but to have that shiny, how this is kind of dull and this is shiny. But see how this is so much more vibrant than this. Whenever you put the clear embossing powder on it, it makes it so so much more vibrant, and it makes it pop, I think. And so I'm going to show you a trick on how to take this apart, because you cannot just put this down on your adhesive sheets. You have to take the layers apart, and they're kind of hard. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to do that. Now, on this one here, it has some words down here, and it tells like Brother Sister Design Studios. I really don't want that on there. I'll see if I have a couple more well, these are 2 pull napkins. I'm looking for the other 2 pieces really quick. See if I can find them here real quick. Oh, there they are. So I have this, and this is, the 2 separate pieces. This does not have any words on it. Oh, there it does there. So I must have grabbed the right side, but I'm going to show with the printing on there, just how how you get around that. All right, so I'm going to set this stuff up here. I don't need, whoops, sorry. And then, so I do have my clear embossing powder. So I'll set that there. I have my heat tool, and then I also have a cutting board. I think I found this from the Dollar Spot. They raided one of our Walmarts near where I live, and they have a Dollar Spot, and I think this was like $2 or $3. And so I'm like, that's the perfect size to have at my desk, instead of a large one. And I have a glass top desk, and I don't want to shatter it, so this is nice to have when I'm doing heat embossing. So I'll just set that there. So this is pretty much what we need. I do have something, and I don't know if it made a difference or not. At the time I thought it did, but I will show it. If this is alcohol and Wink of Stella. It is one of our spritzer bottles. And so, like, if you don't have your clear embossing powder, then you could use this technique for it. I can show both. So what I have in here is this is one of our spritzer bottles, and I just unscrew the cap. I took my Wink of Stella, and I just popped it off, unscrewed this cap, and I squeezed so that off the brush here, it dripped several drops of the Wink of Stella glittery goodness down into this bottle. And then I just took alcohol and filled it up the rest of the way. And then I shook it up, and you can see like the shimmer floating in there. But anyway, so you just shake it up, and then it makes it really kind of milky looking because of the glitter in there, and then it makes everything really shimmery. So I'm going to use that too. All right, so I'm going to keep this out here so that you can see that. This one is what I need when I'm doing the embossing. So I'm going to set it off to the side for now. And the card base, I'll set off here to the side. So I'm just trying to clear out my workspace here. So I'll set that up here. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to trim. I think I'll just leave it and show a different way. All right. So this is our adhesive sheet, and I cut it so that I had the peel here on this piece here. There's a little bitty short piece left on the side, and so I did not want to be trying to get it apart there. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to grab 2 little pieces of tape, Scotch tape, just regular Scotch tape. All right. So this is where I tried to trim it with my paper trimmer, and it just kind of balled it all up. But I did that on purpose so that you could see, you know, and so that is really hard to get a hold of that and peel that. Even on these other edges, they press them together so fine, so like they must heat press them or something because they stay together. I can't get it to come apart. And I mean, you could pick and pick and pick. But what I'm going to do is, I know this little bottom section I'm not going to keep. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape down here. And then I'm going to put a little piece of tape back here. And look, I put a small piece on the front and a small piece on the back. And then you want to peel that layer. So it's important that if your napkin says that it's a 3-layer, you need to make certain you get it down to just 1 layer. You have to remove all the excess layers. So that's important. So now that I'm down to, these were just 2 layers. So now I'm down to a very thin piece, and this we can just throw away because it's just trash. And then I'm going to go ahead, and if I can peel this off, I will. Yeah. So there we go. So we're just down to, I can't get the tape off my finger. Well, all right. It's stuck to my finger now. This could be a blooper reel, maybe. It's still stuck to me. It's a 3-ring circus here. All right. So these words I don't want. So I'm going to turn this over, and I can see my words right there. So I'm going to take, and I want it this way. So I want it in a landscape. So everything that's up here I'm not going to need. I mean, you could if you wanted. So I'm going to get this started. All right. So this isn't sticky anymore. Here's the sticky. So you peel this, and the part that has the words on it is what's going to, and it says peel here. You're going to peel that up, and then the sticky is here. It doesn't quite 100% go to the edge because some of it stays on this section here. So this strip here, I'm going to go over. So I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to go over the edge just a little bit and put it down. And then I'm going to take my bone folder or your hand, whichever, and you want to try to keep it as flat as you can, like this. I've got all my fingers already. And just start working your way across until this is released. And then you want to burnish that on there. Okay. So there we have that, and you can see it through. All right, so now then what I want to do is, remember that little edge. Very carefully start peeling that back. Try not to rip your napkin. Okay. I'm going to crease it right there. And then I want to bring in my basic white. And I want to get close to that edge as I can. right there. And then I'm going to lift it up, and as I'm peeling, I'm going to try to keep my napkin flat. Just slide that across. And that's trash. And now you have it attached to your cardstock, your basic white cardstock. Then the next thing is, there's still, I have a little sticky right here, and that's fine. I'm just going to kind of fold that over there like that, because I don't want it to get on my trimmer. And then I'm just going to trim some of this away. Just the napkin. Once you've done one or two of these, then it goes fairly easy. Okay, so I just roughly cut that away. And then now I need to bring in my paper trimmer. Okay, so on this one here, I said I cut it down to 4 7/8 by, I think it's hard to see it because of the, there. I think it's 3 5/8 maybe. Okay, so where the words are, I'm going to put that in first. Cut it away. So that's trash. And then I'm going to put this in. Put that away. That wasn't stuck down all the way. So I might want to come back. There. That's a better cut. And then, so this one here, you measure twice and cut once. Well, I already cut it too short, but we'll just cut the other two short then too. And then we're going to do 3 5/8. All right, so there we go. And then this one here, I'm just gonna, because I end up needing to trim more because it wasn't stuck all the way, I'm gonna trim this down. Just roll with it. Like that. See if that'll work. And it will. Got a napkin in my cutter. I'll get that later. All right. So that is our paper cutting. All right, so now this is what we have, and I want to try to smooth out as many of those wrinkles as I can. It's just a few, but it's like getting air bubbles out. So that is our piece. And then this is a little bit dull. And then I'm going to take my alcohol and shake it with that in it. And it turns it vibrant. So if you ended up not having clear embossing powder, you could spritz it with the alcohol with the shimmer, and it will shimmer with all the sparkle. And so I'm going to give that a moment to dry. Grab a napkin here. I can just very gently smooth out any of the wrinkles. Okay. So it's sparkly in person. It's probably hard to see it on the camera, but it's there. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to bring in my Versamark. I'm going to just add a lot of Versamark. Just going to keep okay, like that. You just cover the whole thing with Versamark. And I'm going to move this one out of the way and bring this other one in. I'm going to lay that down. And then I want to take my clear embossing powder. And this little container I got at like TJ Maxx or Walmart or someplace like that. And then I have these little desserts, hors d'oeuvre spoons or whatever. And I just coat the whole thing. And it turns kind of milky, so you can tell when you've got it all coated. Okay, now I'm going to turn it this way. Trying to cover the whole thing. Okay. Where my finger was just at, I just knocked all that off. All right. And the reason why I have this paper down is I never get it all back into the container. It always falls onto the paper. Just put that back in my container. And out of the way. We'll close this up. And now it's time to do the embossing. And I see that I got a little speck of something on here, probably from the paper. I don't think it'll be enough to show. All right, so here we go. When it starts going, you'll start seeing it get shiny. Right, and you want to make certain every bit of it is melted. And it gets really vibrant. This is a really fun technique. And it takes a little bit to make certain you get it all embossed. There. I'll hold it so it won't spin. And you don't want to stay in one spot too long because it will burn the paper, the napkin. You just want to make, like, that spot right there is not quite embossed yet. Isn't that just beautiful? See one little spot right here that's still not, you have to like shine it with some light. And there's, see how like this one little spot right there, whoops, sorry. That one little spot right there is dull. You don't want that. You want to make certain that everything is embossed. Once you've done it and you know what it's supposed to look like, then it's, you know what to look for. All right. So that is our piece, and it's shiny all over, so every bit of it has been embossed. Get it in some light. Make certain, yep, it's every bit of it's embossed. So now then, bring in all of our other bits. We need that to cool just a little bit. If you wanted to, you could probably put it through an embossing folder, but there's so much texture on it now. You can see the texture now with it. It's not a smooth because the napkin itself was already textured. So I did not want to put it through an embossing folder. So trim any excess so there won't be bulk. This is a very forgiving technique. And it's, like I said, it's one I've done before, but it's one I forgot about until I saw the napkins. All right, so I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal. I normally use glue, but I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. I'm trying to expand on my adhesives. Okay, so I'm going to take this and my piece of black that we cut down, so that means I had cut this one a little bit too much. So you know what, we all make mistakes, and so I was not paying attention. That's all right. Here we go. And you just put that down like that, and then take your ribbon and I want to wrap it around. And if you don't want to put the ribbon on there, you don't have to. I just was trying to tie in that texture of the stripes there with some of the gingham. And I'm using my reverse tweezers to make it a little bit easier to hold that for me. I hold the knot and pull the ends. Grab those loops, just like that. And I'm going to leave the ends on there for now, the tails. I'll flip this over. And you could do dimensionals right here if you want to, but I've decided not to. I'm just going to add some of my adhesive. So on the actual ribbon, I don't want to spin. Hold this and burnish. Pick this up and center it. I trimmed it down a little bit more. I just center it where I want it, and then it doesn't matter if the top and bottom and sides are all equal, as long as the tops are equal and the sides are equal to each other. Like that. And once it's stuck down, then that's when I trim these little pieces. And if you have trouble with the ribbon not laying how you want, just put a little glue dot under there, and that would fix that. So there is mostly our card. Now this is embossing buddy on there, so you can either take a paper towel and wipe it. If I have jeans on, I usually wipe it onto my jeans, and it just wipes away. I put a lot on there so that I make certain I don't get any stray embossing powder. And then you can get as close or as far away from the sentiment as you want. I don't try to make it straight, because I know I cannot just cut a straight line with scissors. I'm not that talented. If I use my paper cutter, possibly, but I just try to move my paper so that it's kind of flows with the words. So there we go. And then I want to bring in my mini dimensionals. Black ones would have been good for this, but I don't think I have the mini ones out of black ones. I just have the larger ones, I think, maybe. So like that. Take this off. Whoops. Everything's just sticking to me. And put up high. I'll change and put this up high. So there we go. You can add a piece to the inside to do a sentiment on the inside. I usually save that for another time, but here's the one that I had before, and here's the one now. I will stick my little glue eraser under there, so maybe it's not quite glaring. Maybe the embossing buddy. There, so it's not glaring now. So there we go. So that is my technique for today on my Technique Tuesday. And so I hope that you enjoyed today's Technique Tuesday video, and I hope you will give this fun stamping technique a try. And please stay tuned to my channel for future videos like this, for like my Makeup Monday, my Technique Tuesday, and my mystery stamping. And sometimes I just do other videos just because. And you know, tune in for inspiration and just having a fun time. So I hope that you did craft along with me and make a card like this. And if you did, contact me and let me see what you created. I have a Facebook page. It's Creative Coach Lisa Fulford, and it's my business page. And I'm going to put this on, post it on my Facebook page. And if you did create along with me, post it below in the comments below this here card, and let me see what you created. I'd love to see what you did, because anybody can create, anybody can craft. Just, follow along. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.